Hey everyone, I'm Jason Tondro, and I'm here for the Banff podcast. I got a special thing in the mail today, and I kind of want to unbox it. And I thought maybe I'll just do a video of it. So that's kind of where I am. And what I want to talk about is this great old game, Everway. Everway is kind of a wonderful, uh, fondly thought of artifact of the RPG industry. It is Jonathan Tweet's game, and it was put out by Wizards of the Coast after Magic the Gathering, but before they bought Dungeons and Dragons. And I had the very good pleasure of interviewing Jonathan, a couple of years back before the pandemic. He welcomed me into his home and we were talking about his career. And he brought up Everway, and I was very happy to tell him that I still had my old copy of it. Everway was in many ways kind of an independent game with a budget. It had a very creative and forward-thinking themes and goals. It was trying to be very multicultural and very diverse at a time when that was still something that was pretty new to the hobby. And this is back in 1995. It used a sort of tarot card, but also art cards that you would use to be inspired for your character or for the places that you visited or for the people that you met. And I remember Jonathan talking about how they went and searched through all of the collectible art cards that you could get. And this is back in the 90s when collectible cards and art cards were a thing. And you could go into game stores or hobby stores and you could buy packs of them. But they went to look for every possible card they could find that had anybody who wasn't a white dude on it, right? And the game it was diceless. It used the four elements and things to sort of figure out how your character was described. And there was a lot of world creation. You traveled from one universe to another, and you were constantly creating new universes and figuring out your story. It had a lot of kind of Joseph Campbellian aspects to it, in the sense that there was this idea that there was a kind of eternal mythological space, not quite as structured as Campbell, I think, to good effect, but this idea that your characters are participating in myth creation and myth evolution, and you're part of that process. And there's a lot of self-discovery and kind of just, frankly, the love of play. You're not there to gain experience and get levels and get cool new feats. It wasn't a mechanical game. It was a storytelling game. And like I say, it had a budget because Wizards was coming out of a time when it was now making plenty of money on Magic and Pokemon, and they could kind of do whatever they wanted. And so they made this very unusual game. And if you look at it, the box is unusually shaped. It's very tall, and this turned out to be kind of an obstacle in the game because game store owners weren't quite sure where to put it. I worked in a game store for a while, and I worked and it's funny how these sort of production decisions about how we're going to physically make the game become important in how the game sells. People weren't really sure what to do with it. It's not a book. It doesn't go on a bookshelf like you could shelve it next to the Dungeons and Dragons books or whatever. It's a box game, but it's not a traditional box size. It's not like an 8.5 by 11 kind of box. It's taller, it's thinner. And so you can't just, a lot of shelves it simply wouldn't fit on. It was too tall for the shelves. And it was a little bit ahead of its time. And I think that a lot of people weren't quite sure what to make of it. And then, of course, a few years later, Wizards bought D&D, and well, there wasn't a whole lot of time and energy left for Everway, and Jonathan Tweet went on to become one of the leads of the Dungeons and Dragons 3rd edition team. But Everway did a Kickstarter a while ago, and I was very happy to be a part of that and to help make a new edition of that game real. So that's what finally showed up today. So here we got a box. We got a box. So let's take a look at it. Let's adjust our camera here. This is the new Everway. What do we got? Lots of packing styrofoam, cards. The deluxe fortune deck is first. Everway always had an emphasis on using sort of tarot-based cards, but those cards are called the fortune deck, and they're not exactly like the tarot deck. They use a lot of new and original cards that are unique to. Well, frankly, the tarot imagery and tarot cards are fun and very useful, but they were not designed to be used in a role-playing game. And there's sometimes that they're hard to use because of that. But the fortune deck. Notice, by the way, that this is, again, immediately from the very beginning, we get art that is not a white dude, right? This game has always been multicultural and diverse at its heart. And I love, this is a very hard and solid box, by the way. This is not going to break or fall apart, which I love about it. Makes it a little bit stiff to open, but that's not bad. These cards are gold foil on the sides, beautiful backing, and they're thick. What is this? This is the priest. And the heavens, and you can see that they've got like iconic elements along the side to make them easier to interact with in a game. I can't wait to see how these work and use these in the game. So this is our fortune deck. Pretty cool. What's next? More cards, backup cards. This is the smaller card-sized set of resources. One of the many stretch goals for the project. If you like a game that uses cards and visual props, this is a good game for you. And then, we've got this. 1 second. Let's get some scissors here. It looks like it's either a box set or a book. I honestly don't even remember. Kickstarter sometimes turn into Christmas presents when you've forgotten everything that you're about to get. So now here we go. 2 books. Players, Game Masters. Big, heavy, beautiful books. First book, the Player's Book. It's got another foil treatment on the backs of those on those pages. Everyway, mythic adventures portray mythic heroes. You play as fantasy heroes of myths and legends. Discover your hero's story from rich vision images and collaborative questions. Create your own fantastic powers and magic. One of the neat things about Everyway is that you decided what your magic powers did, and you and the table kind of agreed on how that worked. And then our second book, Everyway Silver Anniversary Edition, Book 2, Game Masters. Powered by the Fortune deck. Everyway is a diceless game where actions in the game are resolved by karma, drama, and fortune. A method of drawing the unique tarot-like cards is included in this book. The 25th Anniversary Edition has a new mix of more than 150 vision images, an easy-to-read layout, an expanded setting, new rules options and improvements, over 100 new creatures, new maps, and 3 new quests. Well, so that's the game. 2 beautiful hardback books. I can tell you, like, I'm gonna have a very good time reading these. Full color. Big, clear, easy to read print, by the way. This is not a book that's designed to wear you out reading it. These are all sample characters, for example. Powers, how do powers work? The art's very unusual. I love that. You know, it kind of reminds me a little bit of RuneQuest in its graphic design and layout. The new RuneQuest, the most recent RuneQuest, in the sense that it's got kind of a Bronze Age, specifically non-Tolkien feel to its design. These are all the various cards of the fortune deck and how to read them. My favorite is always Drowning in Armor, which is a very classic fantasy game trope. The idea that you have a defensive measure which somehow becomes an obstacle rather than helping you. Anyway, the book is super visual, filled with cool art. Several characters are in the back. That's a character sheet right here. Game master book. Production values on this book are off the charts. But I love how clear and easy it is to read. Like, it's just not huge, dense masses of text. A lot of rule books, they have so many rules. There's so much to say that they have to make the text very small and densely pack it. But this game is more of a, it's a little bit more friendly to new players, I think. All right. Well, quick unboxing of the new Everyway RPG. Thanks to Jonathan Tweed for helping to make this game and all the people that helped him make it, because I can't wait to dive into it. A longtime Everyway fan. This is like a something I never thought I would see. Thanks.